I was in a pretty dark space in my life, already at 15.
Mhm.
I was suicidal actually because, so as I was saying before, I was on this path to become a professional athlete, and I just experienced how the sports world is so much driven by performance. And if you don't perform, you are nobody and you are nothing. So I experienced that at a very, very young age. The education system at school, that was also still in Switzerland, basically at 15 in Switzerland, that's where you are slowly deciding your career path and things like that. And then you would have like coaches that would come to school from the government, social workers, and you would take these tests, and then they would assess you and stuff like that based on skills, your grades and stuff. And after everything was done and said, basically the social coach would come to me and say, oh yeah, with your grades and background and stuff like that, the best that you can do is work in construction. And that was like, okay, I never thought about working in construction. And I wanted obviously to become a professional athlete. So the school system abandoned me as well. And I had the same experience at church because I grew up as a Christian. Like my mom always take us to church and stuff like that. And slowly I was starting to get responsibilities like in the youth group and things like that. And I just saw how the leadership there, and that's where the topic is, and that's why this is so important to me. They were preaching stuff that they weren't living. And for me, if you represent God especially, or if you claim that, that's a no-go. And I was deeply distressed by that fact because like it almost made me doubt God in a sense. And I was still 15. So basically at 15, I experienced all of these different disappointments that went really deep for me. And that's where I was like, okay, is there even a God? Like, what is going on? What am I going to do with my life and stuff? And I really just figured that, okay, like, if I'm going to make it in this life, like there is no actual way for me to make it, because I wasn't looking forward to an office job, working until I get I retire and things like that. So I was in a really dark space, and that's where I had like a light appear to me in my room. So 3 days in the dark, and then I had a light appear to me, and that voice would say, "My son, it is time to come home. And once you come home, I will show you that life has a purpose, and that you also have a purpose, and that there is life after death." Words that I have been told, and that's where I understood, okay, there is something going on. And that was my first instance, or my start of transfiguration, because that's when I realized, okay, we are not just human. This life doesn't end when we die, and things like of this nature. And then later on, it also helped me because oh, sorry.
No. I mean, no, it's cool. There's a lot to say, because it's very fascinating to me. So when you were 15, you felt like you were suicidal, and you were getting ready to jump out of the window. I'm just curious, what stopped you from jumping out of the window? And did you hear another voice that stopped you, or was there something else that prevented you from taking that dive?
Yeah, it's true. It's actually a lot happened. While I was in this dark space, so it was for 3 days, right?
Okay.
It was a very rational process because, again, for me, religion had failed me, the education had failed me, and the sports world also had failed me. And these were all the things that I considered important. And I couldn't move forward there. And I also didn't agree with the alternatives that society was presenting me with. Find a stable job, work until you're 65, and then just retire. And for me, that life was not worth living. And I was battling within my mind, asking myself, why am I going to find a job, work until I get retired, and then die, instead of just dying now and spare myself the 40 years of struggle in between, if the end is the same, And so it took me 3 days to really, I was contemplating on that thought, like sincerely, because a logical result, and what actually then stopped me was the light that came into my room, that I understand to be the creator. And that's the thing that stopped me. And that light could only stop me because I received a promise, because the light told me that if you come home, I will show you that life has a purpose and that there is life after death, because that was exactly the thing that I was battling with. I was like, we're all going to die anyway, so why should I suffer in the meantime and not just end my life now? So the reason why I shouldn't end my life now is because that light told me, because there is a purpose to life, and also that what we do in this life matters for what comes next. And that voice guided me ever since, and that's where it made sense for me to actually stay. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you hear like